Hey, everybody, welcome to the Silver Phoenix Happy Hour. I'm Blaze. As you can tell, Ken is not with me today, but you get me today by myself solo, and I'm sending Ken lots of love and get well wishes. He'll be back with us in a couple weeks. Also, today we have Freddie Ganno, actor, singer, author. Super excited to have Freddie on the show. We go way back. Freddie's also from Philadelphia, so I'm sure we'll have a lot of things to talk about regarding Philadelphia and kind of growing up in the area. But speaking of Philly, I believe that Nicole is in the kitchen and may have something Philly themed for us. So let's roll that clip to start us off.
Hey Blaze, I'm so excited to celebrate Philadelphia with you today. It's a place that's near and dear to my heart. I'd say the birthplace of all good music. Someone might get pissed off at that, but facts are facts. But let's take it back to Philly foods. And I have a PSA for you here. Stop with the urge to healthify everything. There are some things that are just meant to be enjoyed as is, and maybe we can draw inspiration from these foods, but that original just shouldn't be messed with. Case in point, the Philly cheesesteak. Now, if you are a purist, you will understand that green peppers do not belong on a Philly cheesesteak. Repeat after me. Green peppers do not belong on a Philly cheesesteak. There's a time and a place for a bell pepper. I don't know. I don't think a cheese-covered beef sandwich is really that place. So if you're going down to Philly, I want to tell you this. Instead of trying to healthify those delicious meals, go down, enjoy them, and then maybe think of the rest of your day in another context, right? So, hey, I'm going to Philly. I know I'm going to hit a Philly cheesesteak. I know I'm going to Reading Terminal Market. I'm going to have whoopie pies at Flying Monkey. Who knows what else I'm going to get into? How can you start your day? Well, start it off with a regular protein-packed breakfast. Maybe that's your occasion for some bell peppers and some fruit. And then move on with your day. Philly's a great walking city. That's another bonus. So, long story short, not everything has to be healthy, but different items can fit into the context of your day overall. And whatever you do, keep that Philly cheesesteak as is. Enjoy it. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you so much, Nicole. I'm hungry for a Philly cheesesteak or Philly pretzel right now. All the talk about Philly, but I'm so excited because I have with me today Freddie Ganno, actor, singer extraordinaire. I'm going to bring him on, and he can tell us a lot about what he's been up to. So here we go. Hi, Freddie. Welcome.
Hey, Blaze, how are you?
Hi. I'm very
Excuse me.
well.
Um, happy hour. I'm just pouring my vodka, and as you can see, no, actually, it's
Perfect.
water. It's water. It's water. It's not vodka. It's not vodka.
You know what?
But
You
cheers
normally
to
I would
you.
have a drink too, but mine is seltzer water. So
Mm,
cheers, cheers to you. We're on
cheers,
the same
cheers.
page
Good.
today.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. Too much wine
So
during the weekend.
yeah, right. So welcome to the show. First of all,
Thank
so
you.
excited to have you here.
Thank you.
And last time I saw you, now granted, we've kept in touch over the years, but last time I physically saw you was during a movie that we did together.
Yes.
Mafioso, the father, the son.
Sola mia, they all adore the whole world.
So Antonio and I, we're dumping gasoline all over the beach car lot because we want to set an example, right? And then we hear,
Don't move or I'll shoot you, guinea bastards. We were both
wait, what happened to the cop? He got airmail back to Ireland.
They go to Perks.
The what?
The Perks, you know, the free lap dance. Doc, you're out of time. You don't have another week, all right? You're a fucking gambling horse degenerate. You lost your home, you lost your family, you lost everything. Tomorrow you don't come up with 100 grand, you're gonna lose this place tomorrow morning.
Wow. 20 years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was,
Something
that was
like
my
that.
very first movie.
No, it was
Yeah.
really.
Yeah, I was
Wow.
a news reporter at the time, and
Yeah,
they
yeah,
had asked
yeah.
me to audition, and I think I was up for a news reporter role, and I had like two lines, and they're like, Blaze, we want to bump you up to the hospital desk nurse.
Yeah, yeah, it was great. I loved it. That's right. It was great. It was great.
Oh, it was great. Who did you play again? Remind me of the character you played.
I played Leo Rossi's nephew, Vincent Lupo.
Yes.
I was a mob soldier,
Yep.
and my uncle Leo Rossi, who has been in many movies,
Yeah.
including Halloween with Jamie Lee Curtis in the beginning of his career, and basically, I was a soldier who never listened to him. All I wanted to do was be with women and money,
Right.
So, but it was a great show. I had a nice supporting role in it with Sal and Bobby Costanzo and Leo Rossi, and of course you there were the nurse, were the hot nurse. You're the hot nurse. We called you the hot nurse,
Oh,
Blaze.
thank
You didn't
you.
know that, right?
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
No, you
But you know
didn't.
what's funny? So I think I was definitely in my 20s then,
Yeah, yeah.
but what's so hilarious is that I used to get fan letters from a Canadian prison.
Get out,
I
really?
swear to you. And like for the longest time, it was going to my mom's house. But yeah, a prison guard, some prisoners, because I guess they played that movie at the jail. So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, it
yeah,
was so
yeah,
funny though. I was like, wow,
yeah,
wait, what's this letter? It's a fan letter.
yeah.
I had a few lines and I was nothing, I was a hospital desk.
I
I shouldn't say nothing. I was a hospital desk nurse, but I wasn't the lead or anything like that. So when I
Yeah.
got the fan letters, I thought, wow, how crazy.
Well, you know what's funny, Blaze? We always say no role is a small role.
Right.
Every role, and of course, in a movie, don't forget, in television, it's uh, um, story oriented. In the
Yes.
movies, it's actor oriented. So each role for each actor is a large role, small or large. When you're there, it's all on you. It's all on you. And when people see the movie, it's amazing. I've gotten talk about emails and letters. I've changed my number 3 times. It's just crazy. One of my first movies that really catapulted me in my career was in 1987 was The In Crowd,
Yes.
written by Mark Rosenthal and Larry Connor. So I'm on the set, and I'm in LA. We did most of it in Philadelphia on Temple University. So I'm in LA, and I'm standing outside and playing Orson in the in crowd next to it. I was Joe Pantoliano's bodyguard. Did you see the
Yes.
movie The In
I
Crowd?
did, yes. You know
Yeah,
what's funny is
yeah.
that I watched it again before our interview today just so that
Oh,
it could be
really?
totally fresh. You know why? Because it was your first big breakout movie,
Yeah, it
and I
was.
just
It was.
wanted to
Yeah,
refresh myself so that this way,
yeah,
I could ask you good questions that go along with it, which I loved you
yeah.
in it. It was great.
Man, let us in. Yeah. And you don't get in unless Perry picks your stuff. You know that. Now, go play on the out tracks, boy. The next guy who touches this door gets demolished.
Hey, who you dancing with today?
Me?
No, Chubby Checker. Yeah, you.
I think she's home with Mono.
So get another girl, doofus, One boy, one girl.
That's a couple.
Heads up, kids. Perry's on his way.
Get him.
Perry Parker comes to you today with an apology.
Now, I know you say, Perry, we haven't seen much of you lately. We don't talk over problems the way we used to. Where have I been? Huh? Worrying about ratings. Now, you all know how Dick Clark took Bandstand away from our town and moved it to California. Well, maybe he'll succeed, maybe he won't. Perry Parker doesn't judge. But if Dick fails, the network's going to want to replace him. Perry Parker wants that job. Now you say, why do I want that job? Why? So that America can see my dancers, my team. It's all for you. I'm just the coach. So, what am I trying to say?
What he's trying to say is, school is important. Your parents are important. But the show is your life. Yeah!
Yeah, I played Orson. So real fast, just to let you know, I was in my mid-20s or whatever, and this young girl, all the girls were in the back, of course, the dance movie, and this little 16-year-old Mexican girl wanted my phone number. And I said, how old are you? She said, I'll be 17. I said, well, you're 16. You're 6. I said, well, I'll be 26. And I said, kid, she says, well, can't you take me out to to dinner or something?" I said, "No, I can't take you anywhere."
No.
I said, and it was crazy. And then, you're signing order. It was a lot of fun. So, but it was nice. It was
Yeah,
really
I actually wanna
it was a
ask you
great
about
thing.
that movie. So,
Yeah,
um, just with the character that Joe Pantoliano played, and I know that it was, also, like, kind of, like, bandstand, kind of that's
right,
what they were
right.
talking about, Dick Clark, but he wasn't a real person, right? It wasn't a biopic, was it? I
It
wasn't
was
sure.
it wasn't a biopic. It's funny you said that because Mark Rosenthal and Larry Connor first named it Bandstand, but Dick Clark called the president of Orion Pictures and said, "You can't do that. That's my brand. That's my name. You can't do that."
Right.
So what we did, he named it The In Crowd. And do you know that Dobie Gray owns the rights to the song "I'm in with the In Crowd"?
Yeah.
Every every time that song's played, he gets $40,000.
Wow.
Everything. That's why, actors can make a lot of money, but songwriters and singers, forget about it. They're way off the hook.
I wanted to ask you actually if you had when you were younger, um, were you on either the Al Albert Showcase or the Chief Halftime Show, which were both Philadelphia staple things, or no?
I was on the Al Albert show, kid. Almost made it to the show. I didn't make it to the show. I was on. I auditioned for him.
Yeah.
I was to go back again. I got a gig, so I didn't go back. So I was little, but I was up with this band, the Javons, and they
Okay.
were in New Jersey, so I couldn't make the call back on that. But I did sing for him and his wife Stella. But it was
Yep.
but my God, the Al Albert show, so long ago,
Right?
and
I mean, that was like
how,
a Philadelphia staple, and what was so cool
oh
about that,
yeah,
because I was on it one time,
were you?
but I remember, like, him saying too after I sang a song called "This Is My Life," which was like, an old tune,
Right.
and I just remember him saying, "You'll be seeing a lot of that, young lady," at the end of the show, and then Stella
Yeah.
said, "I'm sorry, but you're competition for our regular Liza, who's been on the show since she was 5 years old, so we can't have you on again," and I was crushed. Oh,
No.
yeah, I was
Oh,
crushed. I was crushed, but then I went to Chief Halftown and I was like, "Ah, Al Albert's who?"
Chief, that's right.
So
That's right. That's right. It was great.
but
It
it's
was a
true
lot of
though.
fun. Yeah.
Philly's awesome for, um, a lot
Oh,
of musicians started in Philly and actors, so, I wanna
absolutely.
actually take
Yeah.
it back a little bit and,
Yeah.
to your childhood. When did you start having the vision that you wanted to be in this business? When did it begin?
I was probably about 10 or 11 years old, and a truck pulled up about a half block away from my home, and
Okay.
they were doing this, some type of summer stock on this little truck. And one week it would pass by, another week it passed by. The third time I said, "What is this? What is this?" It's a truck that had a stage behind it, Blaze.
Okay.
And there were these actors there and there are people there. And he said, and the guy called me and says, "Would you like to do something here? We're actors going around the cities and we're doing little plays, little shorts. It'll be 10 minutes. I want you to read this, that, and the other." And I got up there and I read something and I did something. And, my neighbors were around, whatever. I didn't see anybody. And I was 10 and
Yeah.
my mother was watching me and she said, what are you doing?" I says, "I'm going to do this thing, this acting thing." And she said, "All right, okay." And so she watched me and I did it. And I was probably 10 years old. At 16, I really got serious and I started studying at Society Hill Playhouse.
Ah, yes.
So I studied there for 3 years, did a couple of plays. Then I went to the Wilma Theater and I studied there for almost 8 years.
Okay.
And at the same time, I was studying with John Palmer Studio, who was my voice teacher. So I was studying voice and acting at the same time in Philadelphia. And so I think the bug really caught me at the age of about 16. So basically, who inspired me was my favorite actor at the time, Robert Blake, who played Beretta. And but of course, throughout the years, as I've studied, for the most part, theater, I really clung to Anthony Hopkins, who
Mm,
is who is an incredible actor, and you
yeah.
know, I think at this point in my life, Denzel Washington and Anthony Hopkins are two of the most amazing actors, and of course, I think it's the roles that they've played and the type of philosophy that they go by in reference to grabbing a role, putting a biography together, studying the role, and of course studying everyone else's characters, and making it making it theirs. It's like a singer. Of course, you're a singer. I'm a singer. Anthony Frank Sinatra had his arrangers. Engelbert Humperdinck could sing the same song, arrange it differently. Tom Jones arrange it differently. Mick Jagger could arrange the same song. It's all in the arrangement, right? So everyone arranges their songs differently. Everyone goes after and portrays their characters differently because we're all unique in that we're only one of us.
Right.
So these are the guys that have inspired me and basically have gone on to, bigger and better things. And of course, I saw in one of your interviews, you had a conversation and you were on the set with James Franco.
Yeah.
So 2 or 3 years ago, I did The Deuce with
Oh,
him.
yes.
He directed it. I had a role as a contractor in The Deuce. It was very nice, very
Yeah.
nice. But also on top of that, here's how small a world this is.
Yeah.
My good friend Bruce Kirby, Bruno Kirby is.
Yeah.
Bruno Kirby, he passed away.
Right.
Bruno Kirby of acute leukemia, but Bruno Kirby was in over 100 movies, and Marlon Brando loved him. He was
Yeah.
young Clemenza in The Godfather, Godfather 2. But when I used to go out to see Bruce and Bruno and Bruce and myself, we used to go out to lunch and we used to talk about a lot about these things. So um, Bruce would tell me, what he was doing, and Bruno would tell me what he was doing, but we'd all talk about it over dinner or lunch. And basically, Bruce and I became got real close from the in crowd. So it was a 34-year friendship. Well, he died 5 years ago, but at the age of 95. But I still
Wow.
keep in touch with his wife, Roz, who is 91 years old right now. And
God
I'm
bless
also
her.
in touch, yeah, God bless it. And I'm also in touch with Mark Rosenthal, who was in town about 3 months ago. We had breakfast at Sabrina's up in University City,
Yeah.
and he lives in Santa Barbara. So but all of these, the way we're intertwined in that we talk to each other, and one knows the other, and everybody's connected. So
Yeah.
from the way things happen in this life of ours that we have, I don't think anyone can relate but us
Right.
the way we can relate to each other.
Right.
After I did the Deuce, Bruce Kirby's wife says to me, Freddie, why didn't you tell James Franco you knew me and Bruce and Tony Mottola, who he studied with? I says, Roz, I didn't know. Before I went to the set, I should have said something. I didn't, because they were very good friends and they all studied together. And Bruno and him and Tony Mottola used to go to Tony Mottola's house up in the hills and make pizzas together, right? So they would make pizzas together and do things. And he said, all right, if I get in touch with him, I'll let him know. Blah, 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 blah. And so, but hindsight, I should have said something. But
Yeah.
when you're on the set, you don't have a lot of chances to talk. But he
Right.
was nice to work with.
Yeah.
There were no fights on that set, right?
Again, with the fight
Yeah,
that I witnessed, it wasn't necessarily his
right,
doing. He was
right,
involved,
right, right,
but I
right.
think it was yeah,
Yeah,
the other
yeah.
guy. We'll just say the other
But
guy. So
yeah,
Philly, let's go back to Philly roots for a second. What else in terms of like career wise? Because you said, and I love the fact that you started in theater. I think theater
yeah.
is such a great
Oh,
base
me too.
for for having that muscle memory and
Yeah, yeah.
all of that. If you go back to that, would you do theater now, or do you still?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. At times I'll Blaze. I have 3 agents. One's in Los Angeles, Laura Wall. She handles me for Los Angeles and New York. I have one in Albuquerque, New Mexico. New
Okay.
Mexico's a hot spot now.
Mhm.
Katrina Fristo, Swag Entertainment. And I have one in Atlanta, Georgia. So last year I wanted to talk about doing theater. They all said, Freddie, take it easy. You're auditioning. Maybe, nothing's coming through, but please, everybody's doing it in the same situation right now. We don't want you to do any theater. So they stop you from doing theater unless you can, of course, put a clause in there that on a hiatus, I can do, a film or whatever, or on a hiatus, I can do theater. But if I'm locked into 6 weeks in a theater piece, I can't audition for
Right.
film or TV. And
Right.
in the last 2.5 weeks, I had 7 auditions from Georgia to New York and New Mexico. So I would love to just get back on the boards and just do oh my goodness. Years ago, Bruce Kirby takes me to an apartment and he said, Fred, we're going to read Hatful of Rain. Now, do you know who wrote Hatful of Rain,
No,
Blaze?
I don't.
Okay. Do you remember The Godfather?
Of course.
Okay. The one who ratted on them. He wrote Hatful of Rain. Anyway, to make a long story short, I go in there and it's me, Bruce, and Chris Maloney. We all read for, Hatful of Rain. Now, his family, the writer's family, didn't want to put it up in New York. So Chris Maloney and Bruce Kirby tried to get it up in LA. We were almost there. And, I think I was close to something. It fell apart. They almost said yes. And then it was, not there. However, when I love to do theater, I'll tell you, you just opened up an incredible world to me because I really want to do theater again.
Do you
Yeah.
have a favorite role that you would love to play?
Sam Shepard's A Fool for Love.
Oh, yeah.
So I would love to do that. And let me see. There was a 2-man show I did called Weight Room in Philadelphia.
Okay.
And I would like to bring that back. It was me and another guy, Dean Carvin, years ago, and we did it at Theater Center, Philadelphia. And then we were going to take it all around, and Dean Carvin got out of business, and we couldn't find another just like you. I mean, the chemistry. When the chemistry is great with just 2 people, and it's fun. Which brings me to another thing is. Did you ever see? I became good friends with Chaz Palminteri.
Right. Yes.
So, did you ever see his one-man play? His one-man
No,
show?
I didn't.
Oh,
I was
Blaze.
supposed to. I know that like Bronx Tale came to Broadway,
Yeah,
and I was supposed to see that, and I don't remember what happened. I think I ended up out in California or something. I had a job in
yeah.
California, but I missed it. But tell me about it. Tell me all about it.
Okay. Well, um, I was in Chaz Palminteri's master class in 2015. So I'm actually going back to do a master class with him now. It'll be the 20th, 21st, and 22nd. I'll be in New York City. Have you been in the city, Blaze?
I have. I actually live in Long Beach, so I'm right outside the city. So I do get to go
Okay.
in
Yeah, yeah.
on occasion. I don't find myself in Philly as much anymore. I'm,
Well,
I'm more on that New York side.
yeah. Well, if you do, I will connect and maybe we'll get a cup of coffee or lunch
Oh
or
my
something.
God, that would be great.
I'll be in on the 20th, the 21st, and 22nd. And if you come in early, come into 101 Studios, I'll introduce you to them
Oh my
because
gosh, I would
yeah.
love
So
that.
yeah, so come in and we'll do that.
Yeah,
And
I'd love it.
so he calls me. I took 3 of his master classes. So the next year I'm doing another master class, and he calls my my phone, and my wife answers the phone, and she says hello. He says yeah. She says yeah. Hello, who's calling you? And it's Chaz Palminteri. He says, babe, Chaz Palminteri's on the phone. He wants to talk to you. I said, well, give me the phone, right? And he says, Freddie, Chad. I said, yeah, Chad. He says, listen, are you coming into class tomorrow? I said, yeah. He says, listen, I like what you're doing. He says, I want to put you up for a role. I want to put you in this role as Tommy Marino. I wrote a script called Unorganized Crime. I said, fine. He sent me this script, two scripts.
Yeah.
I read it, and I booked the role as Tommy Marino. And basically, I don't know if you saw any of my reels, but it's on one of my reels.
I did.
And yeah, did you
Matter
see
of
that
fact, if
one?
you hold right there for a second, I'm going to
Yeah,
play it right now. So roll that
go
clip.
ahead.
Talk to your father and brother?
Just like I said, you have 2 weeks to get the rest. But that's it, Tommy. You understand me?
2 weeks.
14 days.
I can do that.
Gino, please! Gino, what are you doing?
This, Tommy.
So cool.
Yeah, yeah. So now that basically was supposed to start and be done in New York, but everyone was in LA, so we flew to LA and did that. And that scene that you see me with him there when he takes me out, he said he actually basically called me. He said, Fred, here's a scene where I kill you, I shoot you. He said, but I've been killed, but at least I'm killing you, right? I'm shooting you in that. I said, great. I'm glad to be killed by you. But anyway, we do that. Now listen how this happens. So the director of that show, who nobody knew at the time, his name was Nick Vallelonga. You know who he is?
It's very familiar.
Now, Nick Vallelonga directed the show. Okay.
Okay.
The show, by the way, the short film, by the way, they took it all over the world. It won 31 independent film awards.
Wow.
31. Okay. They're trying to sell it. Now, who directed it was a guy who just won 2 Academy Awards, Nick Vallelonga. What did he write? Green Book.
That's right. I could not think of it, Freddie, because I'm sitting here, I'm like racking
Yeah.
my brains. I'm like, I know that name.
Yeah.
I know that name.
Yeah.
It was Green
Yeah.
Book. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
We go to
Incredible.
see, we go see Chaz in his one man show, and I take my wife back and friends to go back to meet him. And before it comes out, Green Book, it's Freddie. He said, Nick's got a show. It's called Green Book. I saw. He said, it's on. He said, this thing's going to win an Academy Award. I said, you think so, Chaz? He said, yeah. And it was just in the, I saw it in Philly,
Yeah.
in the, in Philadelphia at the one of the, the indie shows,
Yeah.
right? Before you know it, the next year, boom, he wins for best screenplay and best actor. Whatever. He wins 2 Academy Awards for The Green Book with
Yeah.
Mahershala Ali and
Vigo.
whoever, Viggo
Vigo.
Mortensen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, yeah.
now,
So
now, just quick. I have a question. This is completely off topic, but have
yeah.
you, since we've mentioned Vigo, have you watched or did you watch Lord of the Rings, the series? And are you watching the new one, The Ring of Power?
Not yet, but my
Okay.
friend Paul Villari, I just spoke to him today. He said we're just starting to watch Ring of Power.
Yes.
I didn't want. Is it that great?
I
Is
mean,
it
it
that good?
is, yes, but when you mentioned Vigo, I was like, oh, Lord of the Rings, Ring of
Yeah, yeah,
Power.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
you're sitting in with for Ken today. So and Ken would and I would normally talk about. I'm sure
Right,
he's
right.
definitely seen it by now, but
Oh well, I have to watch it.
yeah,
I will definitely watch it.
yeah,
Absolutely.
for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, yeah. What did I hear you guys talking about? What film you were talking?
I love that
I
you're interviewing us. I love it.
I know because I saw you speak to on episode 14 was Lindsay Brett,
Carruthers,
right?
yeah,
To others, and
yeah,
episode 13 was Mandate Del Rio.
yep.
And what were you talking about with Brandon?
Oh, Brandon, yes, that he was in the TV series It, Brandon Crane, when
Yes,
with John Ritter back in the day, and
right,
that was the
right,
on, the TV series, and
Right,
then
right.
they're having a new Pennywise documentary that had come out with Tim Curry, and he's part of it. So
Okay.
we had a nice chat with him. Have you ever done a horror movie, by the way?
I did I did a horror short called Nothing But the Truth.
Okay.
Um, Rita Cluse wrote it and directed it, and I get killed in it so heinously. I
Oh
get killed,
no.
beaten with yeah. My sister, my mother, my wife couldn't watch it. It was horrible.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
it was a man. I just was a habitual liar, and I lied myself into getting killed.
Ah,
But it was
gotcha.
yeah, that was pretty. Yeah, it was strange. It was yeah, it was that was the horror movie that I did that killed me.
Yeah.
But that was good. That was
Now,
fun.
have you like, do you have a favorite part that you've played? Because you have quite a bit, and I will just say I'm going to
Yeah,
actually scroll. This is Freddie's website below,
yeah,
but also you can check out IMDb, and it's put his name in there. You'll see his whole body of work there. It's pretty
right.
incredible, and it does span a long period of time, which is nice to see that you've been
Yeah,
working
yeah,
this long.
yeah.
So
I love. Um, I did a show. I did a lead in a show called Father Gaudio's Confession, and I played a Catholic priest
okay.
who gets a girl pregnant
Oh,
before I go into the priesthood.
oh, okay, okay. I was like, oh,
Yeah, she comes back to me 10 years later. Never told me she was pregnant. I left, went to another state, and she calls me back, and I said, this, that, and the other thing we're talking. So I have to tell you something. I may need a favor from you. And I said, well, I don't have money. I don't have, I'm a priest now. I'm a Catholic priest. What? She says, well, you do have a son. I said, you're kidding me. She says, but there's more than that. He needs a kidney. His
oh,
kidneys are failing. So there were two things I had to get out there, but that was one of my favorite roles,
hmm,
playing the priest who comes back to find he has a child who I have to make the decision to either get out of the priesthood or tell my Monsignor, but I have to save this child because he's my child.
hmm,
That was one of my, and it was written by a girl named Stanley, um, Marissa Stanley. She was from Chicago,
hmm.
and my friend Lisa Regina had. Well, I don't know if you
I
know
know
Lisa.
Lisa.
You know Lisa, right? Right. So she
That's so
she
funny. Oh, see,
she
that's
got
6
she.
degrees of separation again.
There you go. But yeah, that was one of my favorite roles. Or I played so many different types of characters. Orson Orson was great. Vincent Lupo, Orson was a type of a bodyguard, funny guy, whatever, with Joey Pants, you
Yeah,
know. And, you meet a lot of great people. And Joey did 160 plus movies.
right.
Chaz Palminteri, who became a good friend of mine. Bruce Kirby, Bruno Kirby. You just, these are, Chaz, every year, well, before the pandemic, we went 2 years in a row because we got in, he put me and a couple other guys in a circle after we did the movie, so he would
Right.
do this all men's barbecue.
Oh,
And you
how
talk about
nice.
a guy who has integrity, Blaze. This guy, Chaz, right now, I mean he's where he is. He's 70 years old, but he has guys coming to his home. I mean, for 35 years they were doing this from when they were 6 years old. So these guys are from his old neighborhood, right, in the Bronx,
Right.
coming. So these guys are there, and us new guys are there, and we all meet. There are a couple different guys. There's a guy from Delaware. Uh, my whole family from my legal name is Mangano, but I shortened it to Freddie Ganno.
Right.
But my legal name is Mangano, and we're all from New York City. So the Manganos are from New York City. Do you want to hear a funny story, but not so funny story? How the Manganos
Absolutely.
came to Philadelphia? Okay.
Sure.
So my grandfather and his brother married my grandmother and her sister. Years ago that happened. They come from Sicily. They're not married yet. They come from Sicily. So my grandmother's name was Mary Sampieri. Her father owned a grocery store. She was 16 years old. My grandfather was 32. goes to work in this grocery store from Enna, Sicily. They meet, they fall in love. My grandfather and grandmother, 16 years older than she was.
Right.
So my Uncle Tony Samperi, who was my grandmother's brother, you know, puts a gun to my grandfather after about 2 years. He knows they're starting to see each other. He says, I'll kill you if you ever touch my sister. Well, my grandfather says to my grandmother, let's leave, we're going to elope. He gets my grandmother about 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. They take off. They run away to Philadelphia.
Ah.
So by the time my uncle catches up with him, he was going to kill him. By the time my uncle catches up with him, they're married. Okay, so that was finished. But his brother, my grandfather's brother, also married my grandmother's sister in New York.
Right.
So two brothers married two sisters. So but my grandfather stayed with my grandmother here and made a life as a cement finisher and a contractor. He opened up a business, and that's how I became a Philadelphian as opposed to being a New Yorker. And all my cousins and relatives are all in New York. Fast forward, let me tell you a fast story. We're going to the Regatta to see Tom Jones this Friday.
Oh
right?
my God. Oh yeah.
All right.
That is a treat, by the way. Have you seen him
Yeah.
before?
Oh, I've seen him before, but he still has a
Okay.
great voice. Still has
Yeah.
a great voice. But
And the
fast
women still
forward,
throw their underwear, right?
yeah, they're a lot bigger now, but yeah, they
I
still
know,
throw
it's
their underwear. Right. It's amazing, right? So
yes.
anyway, one day, my wife and I are checking in with Regatta about 10 years ago. There's this guy about 80, 82 years old. He lost his wife. He says, I came from New York, and I have a couple children out here, so I came with them, and I'm working. He's working behind the desk. He was very sharp. He said, I think he was about 80, 82. And my wife was checking in, so I went to the restroom. I'm walking back. In the meantime, my wife says to him, she says, what's your name? Maria Mangano. I said, Mangano? He says, I know a Mangano. It's right in my neighborhood. He says, I don't know if he mentioned my grandfather, his brother Alfred Mangano. Yeah, man. I said, wait a minute. Babe, come over here. I go over there. She says, babe, this guy may have known your grandfather. I says, yeah. He says, yeah. He says, in my neighborhood, there's two brothers married two sisters, and they were Mangano. I says, my grandfather. 70 years, 60 years later,
Wow.
I hear this story. I mean,
It's
it's
small world
unbelievable.
again. It's that small world
Small world.
again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But you can make a story out of, just about anything. I know you're right. Now I'm writing something now about my family, but I also wrote a book. I wrote a book.
Oh, tell me about it.
It's called My Family Book of Workouts and Inspirational Quotes. So
Fantastic. Where can people find that?
on barnesandnoble.com,
Okay.
amazon.com. Okay, you can, and of course, from on my website also.
Yeah, I'll
But
put your website
basically,
back up. There we go.
thank you. Thank you. But it was in the meantime, for about 10 or 12 years, I'm acting off and on. Of course, we have to make a living. So
Yeah.
I also, between gigs, I put together my own business, which was a personal training business. And I got certified through, many certifications. So I would do that business, and I would have 27 clients coming to my home gym. And if I had to take off to go to New York to do an audition, boom, I could take off.
Right.
So, basically my family and my clients inspired me to put this, book together.
So tell me what
So,
the book is about. So I mean, I read the title, so but
right.
tell us about it.
Well, it talks about basically how my father started me and my brothers working out with weight training. I had a set of water weights when I was 3 years old. They were these hollow weights. You fill them with water, and they were about 2, 3, 4, 5 pounds. So throughout my life, my father owned an auto body repair shop. I would work in his shop, but on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we would go in the back of the shop where he made a little gym. His friends would come, our friends would come, and we would train, which inspired me to open my own business to train other people. And basically, I said, you know what? Let me take the knowledge of what my father brought to me through understanding how to train. I also became a nutrition specialist, so I have, and of course, I'm a student of the mind. I study a lot. I think you were talking a little bit about this with Ken.
Hmm.
I studied books from Dr. Wayne Dyer, Dr. Joe Dispenza, Dr. Joseph Murphy, Power of Your Subconscious Mind, Neville Goddard, and stuff like that. So I have on every page of my 50 different workouts, which I've done, tried and true workouts. On every top of the page, I have quotes from everyone, from Neville Goddard to Thomas Howard to Neil Armstrong, even Chaz Palminteri has a quote there, and I have a quote. One of my quotes is, "The hardest work you do in this life is the work you do on yourself."
Mm,
That's my motto, and
mm.
basically that's what the book's about. It has workouts, 50 different workouts, 50 different inspirational quotes, 50 recipes for breakfast, lunch, and dinner
Mm.
that my wife wrote up with me. So we put that together. So basically, it's a book about training the mind, body, and the spirit.
I love that.
And
It's funny because I saw you do a live on Instagram, was it like last week? And one of the things you said has stuck with me, where I've actually said it to a couple of people since then, but it was basically about some people saying, that they have to do something, but instead of saying I have to do this, or and kind of being negative about it, that if you just
right,
change it just a little bit, just one word change to say, I get to do this. I get
right.
to, and it's funny because my mom's here visiting me and she's on dialysis. So when you mentioned the kidney,
Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
was like,
Right,
oh
right,
wow, like that's so again, small world, like we
right.
kind of
Yeah,
all
yeah.
run parallel, right?
That's right. That's right.
But I've
That's
been
right.
taking her to dialysis, and I was saying, oh, I have to take mom to dialysis because I'm
Yes,
working, and so I have to
yes,
take her,
yes.
and it's a
Right,
good half
right.
hour drive. But instead, I've been saying I get to take mom to dialysis, and it has changed my mindset
It
about
does. It
that,
does.
in my
Yes,
day.
right.
So
It does,
thank you
and
for
it's
that.
you're wonderful. That's great. It's wonderful, and I'm so glad that. How old is your mom?
She's 72.
Oh, great. We lost
Yeah.
my mom a couple of years ago. She was
Oh,
89,
oh
but
wow.
we got to be with her every day of her life,
Right.
especially those last years. You
Yeah.
get to do that, and after you lose someone or lose them, it's then you realize when you said, I have to do this. I have to. You say, when I get to do this, it was such an honor and a privilege to
Yeah.
do it that
Yeah.
it makes it all the more worth it. And it's a beautiful thing when you get to do something. I actually got that from a talk of Wayne Dyer, Dr. Wayne Dyer.
I love him too.
He's
I
great,
did
isn't it?
read
Yeah,
in his quotes and his books and stuff. I haven't picked anything up recently like new, but I definitely used to in the past. I've been more into Neville Goddard lately,
yeah,
and just kind of that mindset of kind of what you put out, is what you're getting
yeah,
back to. So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
yeah, it's
And
interesting.
I'm gonna tell you something. I see a lot of. I mean, Anthony Hopkins is very inspirational as well. Denzel Washington, uh, he's right up there, and he basically, talks about, both of his daughters, I believe, went to University of Penn, and he did a speech there. And the first thing he said is, "Put God first in everything you do," you know, and whatever you do, no matter what. He says, "I made millions of dollars." He says, "But you know what? You'll never find uh, a Brinks truck behind a hearse because
Right.
you can't take it with you.
Right.
So you know, don't put people down. Lift them up. It's easier to bring somebody down than to pull them up. So, but when you know, don't inspire to make to make a living. Inspire to make a life. You know what I
Right.
mean? So basically, if you have a dream, go after it, no matter how small or big you think it is. Basically, just go after it. And
Right.
I'll give you this one other saying from Dr. Rick Rogers, and you'll love this one. Ego is the anesthesia that deadens the pain of stupidity.
Mm,
Okay? Watch the ego. You're edging God out. Ego is the anesthesia that deadens the pain of stupidity, and
Yeah.
pride is the burden of the foolish. So
Mm.
be careful.
Yeah,
Uh,
I love that.
anyway,
I actually have a question for you that we ask every
yeah.
guest, and that is if you could offer a piece of advice to someone who's either just starting out in the business, or maybe who's stuck and is looking for some inspiration, what's your piece of advice?
Oh, one of the main things I say is this business and any other business has nothing to do with your five senses. It's an inner game. If you believe in yourself and stay true to your goal and stay true to your dream. Did you know Albert Einstein said, imagination is much more important than knowledge? So if we keep imagining that we are there and we say, just like I said, we get to do something, don't be saying, I'm going to do this. I'd like to do this. I hope this happens for me. Do not worry about anything like that. Start with the I am, because the I am is the most important two words you can say in this life. Okay, if you believe in God, if you don't believe in God, your higher power says to you, your subconscious mind, there's a conscious mind, there's a subconscious mind, there's a superconscious mind that we put out into the universe. Do you believe things that we put out into the universe come back to us? Well, they do. Anyway, if you say, I am acting in a show. I am a series regular on a popular TV show. I am going to be there, or I'm going to do this. Go after it. But the first thing I want you to do is listen to me. Study all you can, number one. When you start out in this business, it's an inner game and it's all internal. Okay? Don't worry about the opinions of others. Okay? What my other motto is, what other people think of me is none of my business. Okay?
Yeah,
So the
I love
basic
that.
principle is just keep forward, looking toward your dream. If you're starting out in this business, or if you've been in this business and you think you're in a slump, you're not in a slump. Work it inside here. It starts from inside. Okay. Okay. But basically, what I say is learn your craft, keep studying your craft, and keep going after your craft. So I say to basically study first, stay true to your dreams, and uh, connect. You know,
Mm.
connecting and socializing with people of the same mindset. I mean, look what we're doing.
Yeah,
You saw an Instagram thing of me and you said, hey, would you like to be on my show? And look how we've connected again after
yeah,
20 years. Okay.
exactly.
But in the meantime, you're putting people on your show who you're connecting with. You know, we're making connections. It doesn't matter if you're just starting out or not. I I see these young people all over the place. They're starting out, they're gun coder, stay with the same kind of mindset, and don't think that, if something didn't happen in 5 months to a year to 2 years, it will happen if you stay true to your goal and dreams. Okay. Just stay there. Okay. And just keep going forward. Don't look back, don't regret, and don't doubt.
Love it.
That's my advice. Don't
Thank
regret
you.
and don't
That's
doubt.
incredible advice, and I know that, we're coming to our end here, but man, I wish I could stay with you a little bit longer and
Yeah.
pick your brain, and, it's funny because, I think, like, you have this amazing body of work that you've done and so many accomplishments, but I think some of the accomplishments that I've seen in you is really, just how in touch that you are with other people and how to
Yeah.
communicate that, and how to really
Yeah.
make somebody feel welcome and yeah, and just I love that, all of the quotes and things like that. I'm definitely going to put some of your reel up. I did it earlier in the
Great.
show, but I'll end our show with a reel.
Okay.
And I have your Instagram up for everybody. It's at Freddie_Ganno, and then also for the website. It is below there as well, www.freddieganno.com. I'm going to definitely take you up on coming into the city and and
Yeah,
hanging with you, meeting Chaz. Why not? Like
yeah,
that would
yeah.
be amazing. I would love that.
I'll
And
let you know. I'll contact you before
yeah.
and just let you know when I'm going to be there.
Definitely. And please, please
Okay.
come on a show again if you are
I'd
promoting
love to.
something else or anything. We'd love to have you. And I would love for you to meet Ken. I feel so bad that he wasn't able to be here for this interview,
That's
but
okay.
we're going to have you on again, so he'll get to meet
Thanks,
you
Blaze.
then. But thank you
It's
so much, Freddie.
Well, it's been an honor and a pleasure. And thank you, Blaze. And I love you and hugs to you and to your mom. And we're praying for her to do well.
Thank you so much. God bless
Thank you
you.
so much.
Mwah.
Bye bye.
Take
God
care.
bless you.
Bye.
Bye bye. See ya.
All right, guys. Wow. What an incredible interview with Freddie Ganno. Um, I'm speechless because I feel like I've learned so much in just a short amount of time from him. And I'm just looking forward to implementing a lot of what he talked about. And I hope that his lessons that he had for us too, especially for you guys just starting out in the business, really heed those words because it, 100% factual there and great advice. So thank you, Freddie. Cheers to you. Thank you for being part of the show, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in a couple weeks in person. But anyway, segueing now because we're almost at the end of the show, but we need to do one other thing, and that's to go beachcombing with me. So let's
roll that clip. We are family. On this episode, I'm going beachcombing with my brother. Jim and I love to fish together whenever he visits from the Philadelphia area, but I thought it would be cool to change things up a bit and go night beachcombing together instead. It's a whole different world when you're walking the beach in the dark. Look at the graveyard of goodies we see at low tide. Several varieties of seaweed, mussels, crab claws, oyster shells, and sadly garbage too. This broken shell I found is from a whelk, which is a type of sea snail. Here is part of a moon snail shell next to what looks to be remains of a moon jellyfish. The moon jelly is one of the most common types of jellies found on the beaches here in New York and nearby New Jersey. They eat plankton, and when you see them on the beach like this, sans their tentacles, probably means that they're dead. Saw a dead dogfish shark too and some small saps. They look a lot like jellyfish, but they're actually in the tunicate family. They have a cool propulsion way of moving by pumping water through their bodies. How awesome is that? Well, until next time, explore, learn, love the adventure.
Well, you guys got to sort of meet my brother. It was in the dark there, but that was my little piece of Philly for you. All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for today's show. I'm Blaze, and Ken, we miss you. We miss you. We miss you. And feel better, please, Ken. But I will say cheers to everybody, and thanks for watching the Silver Phoenix Happy Hour. Until next time.